Hi people, welcome to Qweshunga. I am so excited to host you today. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. I appreciate you. I love you. I Qweshunga with you every time, and I am excited today to be hosting you yet again. For those of you who are joining us for the very first time, Qweshunga is your space to play, to be inspired, and to live a full, authentic life. So, I know so many of you have been asking me to talk about the very sensitive conversation around sex. And I have promised and promised and promised, and then I told myself, you know what, just do the thing. But as Providence would have it, someone that I know and that I am becoming best friends with is producing a film around the sensitive topic on sex. Not even just producing, they are going to tell us what they are doing with that film. And I thought it's a very, very good opportunity for us to have a conversation around the topic, but also understand how daring she is to have this kind of conversation in such a day as this, because my goodness, people are so shy and afraid to talk about sex. The other day I talked about sex and I received emails and inboxes from so many people telling me how I've become less born again because I am encouraging people to talk about sex. Anyway, you guys, that's a topic for another day. But welcome with me, my friend Shari, to the show. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure.
Who is Shari? What does she do? Why is she even here today?
All right. So my name is Shari, as you guys just heard. I am a filmmaker. I am a content creator. I am the co-founder of a music platform called Expressions UG. And today I'm here wearing my filmmaking hat. And I'm here to talk about a film that I wrote and plan on directing called I Eat What I Like.
I do. It's such a good
right. The path we're going down, even if she hadn't introduced the topic.
Yeah.
But yeah, we recently ran a crowdfunding campaign to make the money to produce the film. So many people told me Ugandans wouldn't give, but Ugandans gave
so much. Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And we were able to make $10,000.
Wow.
So yeah, now we're gonna make a film.
You
about
hit the
sex.
target.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations. That's really, really huge. Also, I'm not just saying congratulations upon getting the money. I'm saying congratulations upon making the money on such a topic. Because, yeah, like people said, Ugandans won't give because I think we have, well, we don't do it intentionally. Culture has taught us to shy away from having conversations around sex. And so anybody who talks about sex is either immoral or they're sinful or they're like, there's a negative connotation to the conversation. So one, I'm proud that you're doing this.
Thank you.
And that you're doing it in our time where everybody's shying away from sex. People are having sex, they're doing it in every way. Everybody's eating what they want, how they want it. We just won't talk about how what we are eating is affecting us or how we are eating it and how it's affecting us. So, what inspired you to get into this space?
I think for one, it's just generally as a person, my personal politics, as I would call them. I do consider myself a feminist.
Yes.
I do consider myself an artist who believes in, I guess, countering shame and guilt. I want to tell stories that counter that, or that, like, people that exist on like the boundaries of society. I want to bring them in. I want to tell their stories. And for me, women, and particularly Ugandan women, are a very big part
of those
within
stories,
that category. You know, like, it's not just that it's about sex. It's also that it's a story that where women, I feel women will be represented in a way that's true to who they are and that's nuanced and that's not just like flawed or negative. But another big thing that inspired it, which Penelope was a part of, was my my honors thesis in university. I did my honors in psychology, and I decided to do my thesis on Ugandan women's experience of sexuality and sexual pleasure. And Femford gave me their like office space to have the conversations with the women and to have the focus group session. But a lot of the research, I mean, a lot of my findings from the research kind of just left me thinking, what?
Like this is what people
this
think
is-
about pleasure, and
or even this is how just different social structures, whether it's family, education, religion, have affected the way we think about sex and engage with our bodies and with sex. I was just like, I guess it just left me thinking to the point of writing a script. I like to think I'm a very funny person. So I was just like, okay, let me write a script, because I think that if it's funny and witty enough, people might be more open to a conversation and more open to consuming it, because I think it will entertain you, but it will open our eyes to a lot. And I think for me, the most interesting thing that I found was the how dangerous our silence around the topic of sex is.
Exactly.
Like, talking about sex is not just for fun with your friends. Like, that's great and that should happen. But there's so many dangers in, well, number one, making women grow up thinking sex is something men take, you give and men take, and that's all you tell them. And then all of a sudden they're 30 and you're just like, yeah, get married and please your man.
Please, pleasure
There's so much danger in that. There's so much danger that then our bodies, our minds are exposed to, because we've not been empowered.
But also the trauma that brings, because you see, it's like having a split personality. You know, you're all of a sudden it's now good and I'm supposed to embrace it, and I'm confused. Where do I fall? So before it was this taboo thing, and now, oh my goodness, now this is a good thing. You must adapt, you must do it, you must love it.
And then it's also like you must do it and love it so that you can have babies. Why?
Exactly.
Why is it
like you
about
can't just
reproduction or, you know, like, why can't it just be for me? Why can't it be a thing for me and my body, a positive experience for me? I was definitely also inspired by, I have a big interest in, like, I guess, intergenerational relationships between women. And I guess also my relationship with my mom, because I'm now 25, which is I'm more of an adult, but I still live with her. So seeing how we navigate, like, living together now that we're kind of, I'm also now a young woman, and just thinking about that relationship with that other young girls might have with older women, and just thinking about how relationships with women can be so powerful, but if we're silent about certain things, then we don't allow those spaces and those connections to be as powerful as they can. The film centers a mother and daughter, Ugandan mother and daughter. So I think that's another thing that was so big for me and interesting. That relationship between the mom and daughter, and like pointing out that, like, we're more alike than we think. Often women don't get along or have different views but we're actually, if we sit down, we're more alike than we think. At the end of the day, like, patriarchy is affecting all of us, whether you believe in feminism or not, whether you're progressive or not, it is a thing that affects all of us. So I think I also wanted to just bring women together to those, just bring out that.
I'm so glad that you talk about intergenerational conversations, or also the gap, the divide, because recently I was having a conversation with some people. I was having a facilitation on SRHR, and I asked them who's having conversations around sex and pleasure for older people. Older women, older people. And they were so grossed out. Like, what do you mean? You want me to imagine my mother or father having sex?
And
like,
enjoying it?
Excuse me, they had you because they, like, but how do we not imagine it? How do we get to a place where we think after 40 or maybe after 50, women should not be thinking about these things? We even categorize them like
I don't know if you've seen, funny fact, I don't know if you've seen this article that's supposedly based on research that says, like, my generation is having the least sex.
What?
Compared. So I'm just like, we're out here thinking, what? But apparently they were having more sex than us.
And then what happens? Because you see, that's the research for me is incomplete if you leave us hanging there. So then
if you just say that.
So what happens when they get older? Is it that they do not desire sex? Is it that they cannot have avenues to have the sex? Is it that, like, what exactly happens? And so also because the community is constantly shaming them for thinking sex. Like, those are young people's things now. Retire and just leave it to them. But I'm a whole full human.
It's also like, where could they even go? I'm thinking, what would be a safe space for them to say, I want to talk about it? There's no one who would openly say, yes, you have the right and deserve to have these conversations or talk about these things.
It's oh my goodness. So I'm so excited, and excitement can even show. Like I lose words when I'm super excited. I'm usually the bubbly one. But one of the things that I am trying to do with this Qweshunga space is to create a space where people can play. With conversation, with life, with the so bringing film into such a sensitive conversation. I call it sensitive because also we have shut our minds to thinking it should be done a certain way, talked about a certain way. You know, the Ministry of Uganda, the Ministry of Education in Uganda says we shouldn't have comprehensive sexuality education because in having sexuality education, in having comprehensive sexuality education, you're encouraging young girls to have sex. But young girls are having sex. That's why the teenage pregnancy numbers are shooting through the roof.
But also, do you not think that if you give them comprehensive sex ed and you equip them, they will be more knowledgeable to make the right decisions at their different
that's
ages.
The thing, we're constantly looking at life through the negative frame rather than using a positive lens to say, look, what if giving them the information made them do the right thing? What if we're constantly thinking, no, it's going to take away from our morals because we are religious, because we are spirit, we are all these things that just, take away from. But that's my rant for the day. That's my rant for the day. Now back to Shari. So this film, I eat what I want. First of all, it's such a catchy. I was thinking today, oh my God, we should have done this set in like a picnic with all this.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, with all these things, like picking whatever I want. But what made you choose the title, I Eat What I Want?
Okay, I eat what I like.
Sorry, I eat what I like,
It's a funny story because the film was initially called The Dealer. And I can say this because it's not a spoiler. Initially, the story was that the mom and the daughter were buying sex toys from someone who's like the dealer. And they didn't realize they were both doing it secretly until they found themselves at the same place at the dealer. And then I guess like, as the story evolved, I kind of got more brave in terms of what I think I can portray, and so the story became a bit more, and it changed a lot. So it's no longer that that's not the story anymore, but it was still called The Dealer until one day I was at an office, and I'm a very picky eater, and I also like.
We're twins.
And I also I'll eat dinner for breakfast for like what I feel like eating is what I eat. So I was eating potato salad for breakfast and someone just couldn't believe it. They were like, what are you doing?
My friend is always shaming me for eating ice cream for breakfast. So
and I literally said to them, I eat what I like. And I was like, oh my God, you guys, that's the name of my film.
Just like that.
That's the name. And I just feel like it's provocative. It has so many connotations.
And anyone
it catches your eye. But more than that, it was just my way, I guess, of subtly or like my solidarity with people who don't have, I guess, even just like very cis heteronormative sex. And I was just like, guys, you know what?
There's not one way to do it. Yes.
People will eat what they like, how they like, when they like.
I love that. I think
that's
such a revolutionary thing.
I think that's where that came from for me.
I love it. What's next? Now that the fundraiser is done, now that the script is done, now that we already know who's going to feature in the film because we saw somebody already.
Oh yeah, Tracy. Okay.
We saw Tracy and we are excited. So now people are like, okay.
I feel like the first week after the fundraiser, people kept asking me that question.
Now when? Yeah, the pressure, calm down.
But no, we have a plan. We plan to shoot first week of September.
Okay, that's like tomorrow.
Because it's a short film, it will probably only take about 3 days. So the first step is shoot the film. And after that, my dream and goal is accessibility. I know that often with like film in Africa, we shoot our films and then we immediately want to take them to like festivals, which usually means your audience here doesn't get to watch it. Then you try to get it on like a streaming site that's not even available here. So my first goal is to host like
viewing, like screening sessions.
And I genuinely I don't know where the money is coming from, but it's coming.
It will come, sis.
I want to host screenings in Uganda, in Nairobi, in Joburg, in Lagos. Like I want to, accessibility.
From your mouth
That's,
to God's ears.
amen.
Like really,
Amen.
let's do this.
I'm also really interested in like collaborating with, I guess, anyone that's involved in sexual reproductive health work.
Yeah.
I would love if the film could be used at like workshops. If we could have like sessions where like it's just a form of education, but in an entertaining way. So when I think about it, those are like my main goals for the film. Also to just have the various creatives that work on it benefit from it as much as possible, especially the actors and actresses, because I know that often in Uganda, actors and actresses they're taken advantage of. So I think my goal is my team must leave that film set feeling like
we did the thing.
We've won. And B, as many Ugandans and Africans to be able to watch it.
No, I'm already, so even while you spoke, I was thinking, oh my goodness, this could be really, really, like, it's bigger than she's even thinking right now.
Lol.
Like, it's, seriously, because you don't know how many other things this could birth.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, it's a revolution. I know that it seems like a small thing right now,
like
but it's not really a small thing. It's not really a small thing. When you break the gates open for certain conversations to happen, then people begin to question certain things. You're changing perspective, you're changing people's mindsets, and the social norms are being challenged. People are suddenly going to say, okay, so why must I not do this? Why do I have to do this a certain way? So it's bigger than you have even experienced it in your head.
In my head.
Yes, because your head is saying this and this and this. I'm seeing so many other stories that could come out of that, because then everybody wants to share their story around the topic, and everybody wants to, share their experiences. So it's a big
like what you're
thing.
saying. It's going to open up room for people to
question, to feel more, like someone
even having that conversation with themselves.
So why not? Why aren't we having this conversation?
I'm so excited to see if I'll be able to watch it with my mom.
Your mom is cool,
people,
so
like,
she will.
Bring your mom. If you want to watch this film, you have to bring an auntie, or you want to watch it. I'm like, can I bring my mom?
Your mom is super cool. She's so chill. She would totally enjoy.
But every mother has their limit, and this one is my mom's. This one is 100. When I first told her about the film, I swear I think she almost cried.
Tash, we're sending you prayers.
Love you, mom, but yeah.
We're sending you prayers, and we hope that when it comes out, you will be ready for what's coming to hit you. But I'm so proud of you, Shari. I really am. And I know that your research was bigger than just this film.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you to even dig deeper into the bigger research. I also want to just maybe ask about what your findings were about older people. I'm asking about older people because I know that young people struggle with sex and their sexuality and, all this, but it's not as bad as for the older generation. Because for them also, socialization was, sex is a bedroom thing. You don't take it out of the room. You have it in a structured space. You don't have it with multiple partners. For them, that was the narrative. Today, we have different opinions and different narratives. And yet, you had conversations with women over 40 ages. And 50. And they're exploring. Some of them are just beginning to discover their bodies at 50, because sex then was a performance thing and reproduction thing. So now I'm beginning to discover myself. I'm beginning to explore who I am. And I know this is what pleasures me. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. Is there any chance these conversations can be had? Or is there such conversation in the film without preempting what's in the film?
So I think that I can say this. I can answer that without preempting what's in the film. So initially, when I started writing it, there was a lot of focus on the daughter. And it kind of was like, the mom was the villain, the daughter is like the young, open
I'm hip,
one.
I know about all these things.
Until I realized life is more nuanced than that. Every woman, regardless of where she stands in just how open she is about things, has something to give. And I also wanted, I realized I don't want it to be them being pit against each other. I want to present two perspectives, and I want people to see that they can coexist. So what I added to the script was the people in the story find out that the mom is seeing a sex therapist. And for me, I guess it was just like what I thought about what a lot of people would imagine if like a 55-year-old woman in Uganda says.
First of
she's
all,
seeing a sex therapist.
even just a normal therapist, we are like,
that's so true. That's so true.
Just a normal therapist, are like, why are you seeing a therapist? Are you mad? Are
Yeah.
you and now sex therapist? What?
Yeah. So for me,
It's unheard
I
of.
think it was to also say that guys, older women also can want to please themselves or can also have questions about sex and stuff like that. And it's interesting when you mentioned the different dynamics between older and younger women. In my research, surprisingly, I found that older women are more, it was easier for them to talk about what pleases them and what they like and what they've enjoyed than the younger women.
Interesting.
And they also seemed to have more, to be able to describe more pleasurable experiences. And I don't know if that comes with age
and
experience, getting more comfortable with your body, getting more confident to say, I don't want to do that.
This,
I want this. If you can't do this for me, bye. But it just made me think like, I love this quote. It's by this Nigerian poet. Her name is Ijeoma something. But she says, nobody told you that the women whose feet you cut from running would give birth to daughters with wings. And for me, it's just that. It's like, we might think older women are so old school and they have nothing to give us. But like our wings are their feet.
Yes.
So like, they do have, there is a lot we can learn from them. And that's why I'm like,
and there's a lot we can teach them. So that's
exactly.
the thing.
That's how like all
we're
it takes
both
is
learning
for us to
from
have
each other, the conversations. Yeah.
Once we can open our mouths
the
and sit and
spaces.
talk to each other, a lot will come out of that.
Yeah.
We have a lot to share with each other and grow and learn and support. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love to see it. I can't wait to see it. And I know that in my mind is racing right now because I also do women's rights work.
Yeah.
And so my mind is thinking, what can we do? How can we create these spaces?
Yeah.
How can we? So I know this is homework for me to also go and just think through, what ways we can create spaces for these intergenerational conversations to happen, but even away from the intergenerational conversations, we are already having conversations with young women around their bodies and what self-esteem looks like, and not just give you what is pleasure for you as a person before it has to be by somebody else. And those conversations are already getting so much backlash, but we are happy to have the conversations. And so now I'm thinking, okay, we need to have deeper conversations also around, the evolving, the evolving scenarios that we go through, the evolving generations and everything that we must learn and decide that this is what we want to go with and this is what we want to drop. What is the one thing you want to say to anybody that is watching us out there or listening to us that you think is important on this conversation that we are having?
Ooh. Okay. I think I want to say you're not alone because that has been some of my biggest fears and concerns when it comes to getting older and exploring my body, exploring sex, exploring that kind of partnership with a person.
Yeah.
There's so much that can confuse you and even traumatize you. And
Tell
just
me about
because
it,
everyone
sis.
else seems to be quiet, you're not.
You think they have it together.
There's nothing wrong with you. You're not different and oh my God, no. Trust me, there's so many people going through something like that. And yeah, I think it's just you're not alone. You're not alone and you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. The other thing that I wanted to say, which is to you, is thank you, because I feel like for me, something that makes me believe I can achieve my dreams and goals and do things. People keep saying I'm brave. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm brave?
Really
I'm like, there's so many people who have come before me that have made me feel like I can do this. So like, even with you, it's like being able to see older Black women take up space and fight for things that people judge them about or people don't see as important work. Literally, like sometimes I wake up in the morning and that's what moves me. Like I look at the portfolio of work of the women God has put in my life and I'm like, girl, we're going to the moon.
She's going to make me cry, but
so genuinely,
not
thank
today.
you. Thank you for like all the different spaces that you've created for people like me, honestly.
I am glad. I'm glad. And like I said, even away from the show, I'm so proud of you because I remember when you reached out and this has progressed and it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. It's still going. It's still growing. I am so happy. I am so happy. And I am going to end this right here because now I'm going to cry.
Oh, it's been short and sweet.
It's been so short. I will end it here, but I want you to know that I'm promising all our Qweshunga people that I'm going to have her back. I'm going to have her back because the conversations between her and I are still immense.
Guys, maybe I'm going to become a co-host.
Right? You never know.
Maybe we'll start a series. You never know.
So I'm going to host her again, and today was just to talk about, her film and why she got into it. We're going to dig deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Stay Qweshungaring. We love you. Till next time.